Hi everyone, I'm Gretchen Ritter, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. To the class of 2020 from the College of Arts and Sciences, I want to say, we need your compassion, your creativity, your curiosity now more than ever as we work together to rebuild in the post-COVID-19 world. We're so proud of you. Congratulations and best wishes. Go Bucks.
Being a third-generation Buckeye, a second-generation School of Music student, and a third-generation member of the best jam band in the land, today is a day that I have dreamt about my entire life. I would like to thank my family and professors, especially my studio professor, Catherine Borst-Jones, for their love and support during my time at Ohio State. Thank you for making this possible. Go Bucks!
In high school, one of my teachers gave me some excellent advice. She told me that we're not here to see through each other, we're here to see each other through. And that to me is what it means to be a Buckeye. From football games to Sloopy's pancakes, what I'll miss most about Ohio State is everyone around me, the people who challenged me, inspired me, the people who saw me through.
Congratulations 2020 Buckeye class. This is Coach Holtman with Buckeye Basketball. Just want to take a quick minute to say a big congratulations to all of you on your special day. You have fought through adversity here to reach the finish line. I know you'll pursue the rest of your life with that same perseverance and grit. We wish you well. Go Bucks and congratulations.
Congratulations to the dental and dental hygiene classes of 2020. Your years in Postal Hall will be remembered by all of us for years and years to come. I especially hope these last several weeks will be something that will benefit you, your family, and your future patients. I personally want to thank you for the professionalism you demonstrated during this crisis we all faced, and I want to wish you the very best that life has to offer. Remember, you were a student in Postal Hall for a very short time, but you are an alum for life. Congratulations.
Hi Buckeye family, I'm Julie Gable, class president and graduating senior from the dental hygiene program here at OSU. Although we aren't celebrating and not graduating as we planned to be all those years, this virtual commencement still means so much to me. Knowing our hard work and achievements are being recognized is such a great and exciting feeling as a senior. I know I could not have gotten through my college career without my family, my friends, and all the professors that I've met along the way, and I can't thank them enough. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to celebrate. Congrats, class of 2020, we did it. Go Bucks.
Although these few months have been anything but easy, that does not erase all of the wonderful memories, education, and lifelong friends I've gained here over the last 4 years. I am so excited to celebrate with friends and family, and I'm happy to have continued on with my dad's Buckeye legacy. To the class of 2020, wherever you may be, congratulations and best of luck moving forward. Proud to be a Buckeye for life.
I congratulate you on your graduation during the 150th year of the university. This is a special time, and I want to express my pride in your perseverance of your goals and your expectations. We look forward to engaging you in the future as an alum of our college, and we wish you the best.
Now, what is graduation to me? Graduation is the completion of the first chapter of my life and the beginning of the next. It's a time of reflection and gratitude for all those who helped me get to where I am today. And it's a time of anxiety, but also excitement for what tomorrow will bring. And today I'm so proud to graduate a Buckeye.
In June of 1998, I was in the Horseshoe getting my undergrad. And at that time, I never thought I'd go for a master's. 22 years later, and here I am getting a master's. Never say never. I want to thank my family, my friends, my coworkers. They have been my true cheerleaders throughout this graduate process. I wish we were all celebrating on campus, but I'll celebrate with my family at home instead. Congratulations to fellow graduates, and go Bucks!
What's mean to graduate from OSU? It's mean a commitment for life. Right now I'm back here in my community in Puerto Rico. I was hired by the University of Puerto Rico, Mayagüez campus in the kinesiology department. So I want to be that bridge between the student and the academia, specifically those students, underrepresented students, to pursuing higher education. Go Buckeyes!
I know it's a tremendous disappointment to all of you not to have the opportunity to graduate in the shoe. Truly a highlight of an Ohio State education. Now, I've been a professor for many years, and I've congratulated thousands of graduates. But you, the class of 2020, will have a special place in my heart, because this graduation is so different. So let me send you off with a quote from one of our best-known engineering alumni, Charles Kettering. He said, "My interest is in the future because I'm going to spend the rest of my life there." So please go out there and make your future and make it great for all of us. Go Bucks.
This commencement has been long awaited. After years of hard work, great memories, and lots of growth both professionally and personally, I'm grateful to my parents, family, friends, and staff from the DOI office and the College of Engineering. I couldn't have done any of this without them. Thank you so much.
I remember 4 years ago, after convocation in the shot, my freshman class was allowed to enter the stadium and stroll across the field. For me, this symbolized that I would both start and end my Ohio State journey in the same place. While it breaks my heart that I will not be able to bookend my Ohio State experience in the shoe, where I have made so many memories over the years, I am focusing on the silver lining, that I will be able to celebrate my graduation with the people who mean the most to me. I cannot imagine reaching this point in my life without the support of my family. So a celebration dinner at home and obligatory graduation pictures in our backyard are all I need to celebrate. Stay home, stay safe, and go Bucks.
Greetings to our CFAES graduating Buckeyes. We come to you today in honor and pride. I'm truly sorry that we can't deliver these messages to you in person, but we're united in spirit and celebration. Congratulations to each of you. I hope that we can all keep foremost in our minds that it's our shared mission which unites us. We sustain life. Go Bucks.
This year's commencement represents so much more than just the graduates. It also represents the strength in the Buckeye community as well as 150 years of The Ohio State University. I'm proud to be a part of this land-grant university and the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. Thanks to all my family, friends, staff, and faculty who've helped me grow and get me to this day. Thank you, and go Bucks.
To the class of 2020, you're graduating at an extraordinary time. We're so proud of your accomplishments, especially given the challenges of this year. More important, we're inspired by you. Now more than ever, we need your contributions to science and the arts, to business and engineering, to medicine, and every other field. Thank you for being the person who will make a difference in society, and thank you for being part of our family of Buckeyes.
It is my great privilege to offer you congratulations for reaching this tremendous milestone, a milestone worthy of celebration. And now, go forth in the world, make transformational change for which you have been prepared. Go forth and be the leaders. Go forth and be the face of Fisher and Ohio State. Congratulations.
On this graduation day, I'm feeling appreciative of all the relationships I've been able to form during my time at Ohio State. And this commencement is just one more step in a journey I set out on a few years ago. And I'm excited to be that much closer to new challenges that await. And today, I am celebrating at home with my wife, Ashley, my two children, Adelaide and Crosby. And I'm thankful for not only their support, but also the support of my parents and in-laws who have been there every step of the way on this journey.
Graduating today makes me feel uniquely prepared as an engaged corporate citizen and optimistic for the next step of my career. Finally becoming a Buckeye and joining an alumni family of over 550,000 means I can always get a reply to, "Oh wait!" I'm celebrating at home through this historic virtual event, but I'm more excited for when I can finally gather with my family to celebrate. And to my colleagues, mentors, and loved ones, thank you for always being there and celebrating with me today.
I'm very excited that I can finally enjoy this moment after a long but precious journey at The Ohio State University. For me, this commencement is a beginning of a new chapter in my life, so I'm planning to eat a delicious cake later at home. I met a lot of great people here who have supported me, especially my advisor Greg, so I thank all of you for your time and encouragement and being good friends.
Ohio State is home to 238 graduate programs across 15 colleges.
And today we are honoring 265 PhD, 137 professional doctorate, including audiology, education, nursing, physical or occupational therapy, 6 Doctor of Musical Arts, 11 education specialists, and 1,961 master's degrees. This represents an increase over 2019. We applaud all of our new graduates and all of those that support them. Thank you.
Congratulations, graduates of the John Glenn College of Public Affairs. You have made it through a challenging set of hurdles, including completing your degree in the midst of a global pandemic. As you embark on this next stage, remember to follow Senator John Glenn's encouragement to inspire citizenship and develop leadership, and that happiness is as much, if not more, about devoting your life to something bigger than yourself, namely the public good. Congratulations and welcome to the Buckeye alumni family.
I couldn't be more excited to be celebrating commencement with my fellow Buckeyes. This is definitely an unprecedented time we're living in, and it's been wonderful to be a part of such a strong community like Ohio State. I will definitely be celebrating with some friends and family via video chat, so have that to look forward to. And this is really cool just because I went to OSU for undergrad, and now here I am about to graduate with my master's, so it's definitely a culmination of my time as a Buckeye. I'd especially like to thank the faculty and staff of the John Glenn College. Everyone has been so amazing. Chris and the entire student services team, Katie and Dr. Girth of the MPADC program, and all of the faculty that have made an impact on me. I'd love to thank my friends and family and loved ones. I really couldn't have done it without your support. So thank you to all who made this such an extraordinary experience, and I couldn't be prouder to be a Buckeye. So go Bucks!
John Glenn believed that we are more fulfilled when we are involved in something greater than ourselves. This has been the through line of my time at Ohio State. While I dreamed of walking across the stage in the shoe, and I'm excited for the time when we all get to do it, the biggest takeaway of my OSU experience has been working for the greater good. I have been celebrating with unexpected extra time with my family, walks to favorite campus locations with my roommates, and reminiscing on the last 4 years of memories. How could anyone be ready to leave this place? As I enter post-grad life, I'm really excited to shout, OH, and be greeted by fellow Buckeyes around the world.
On behalf of everyone at the College of Medicine, congratulations to our graduates and all the graduates of The Ohio State University. Now more than ever, the world needs your expertise, collaborative mindset, and passion for helping others. You're uniquely empowered to solve the many problems we face today, and we know you can do it. Remember what you learned here, and most importantly, wherever you go, you'll always be a Buckeye.
I am fortunate enough to celebrate my graduation with family and FaceTiming friends who can't be here today. This is my cap from 4 years ago when I graduated from The Ohio State University. I'd like to thank the same people I thanked then now for making my dream become a reality. My mom, my dad, and my stepfather Dave. While this graduation isn't quite what I expected it would be, it means so much more to me today because I have my family and friends in good health because of those that are supporting our community on the front lines.
Graduation may look a little different in the era of a pandemic, occurring in living rooms and kitchens all across the country, as we're all doing our part to flatten the curve. Nonetheless, this milestone is still just as special. It remains a profound recognition of our years of hard work and also of the tireless support of our mentors, peers, friends, and family, without whom we simply would not have made it. So to all of the graduates and your loved ones, congratulations and all the best. Go Bucks.
For me, commencement means finishing a chapter of professional and personal growth. I want to thank my family, friends, classmates, and especially my coordinator and program director who worked so hard to make this possible. We've all worked through some unpredictable circumstances, but I hope that we can all celebrate at home and focus on staying healthy until we can meet again.
This commencement is a culmination of my entire academic career. I feel very lucky to say I work both for the Wexner Medical Center and am now a graduate of the university with my PhD. My academic journey would not be possible without so many different people, so I'd like to thank Dr. Jimmy Anati and the rest of my dissertation committee, the Ohio State University Sports Medicine Department for their flexibility and willingness to allow me to pursue my degree, and lastly, most importantly, my family, including my parents, my wife Ashley, and my 2 sons, Vincent and Luca. Go Bucks.
Congratulations to all the graduates from the School of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences. You have shown yourself to be resilient and creative, strong in the face of adversity, and compassionate for your fellow man. You are destined to shape the future of healthcare. Good luck in your next endeavors. Stay in touch, and best wishes for a bright tomorrow. Remember, we are HRS.
Hello, fellow Moritzers. We're so incredibly proud of all that you've achieved and accomplished as students of the College of Law, and we're even more excited about all the good you're about to do as you head out into society. Now, more than ever, the world needs attorneys. Ours, as you know, is the noblest of professions, and it feels so good to have the confidence you've given me that you're going to make Ohio State even prouder than we already are of you. Congratulations.
When I think about what this milestone means to me in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis, I've realized that it means a lot of what it would have meant if we were all together in person. I'm excited about what's coming next for everyone, but I'm dreading the summer of studying for the bar. I'm looking back fondly at when I first met my now dear friends, or the first class with some of my favorite professors. But mostly, I'm really proud about everything we've done in our time at Moritz. Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations, awesome, innovative, College of Nursing graduate. Remember to live well and keep dreaming, discovering, and delivering a healthier world. We're so proud of you. Go Bucks!
This is a special time and an amazing commencement because in this year, it's the year of the nurse and the midwife. We're all graduating from one of the top institutions and during a pandemic. Pretty sure that's amazing, and now we can do anything. Thank God for my support I've had, my husband Derek, and my family. Go Bucks!
I just completed a BS and a PhD in 3 years, and I'm the first to do that here. I hope to continue into academia where I can teach and inspire new nurses and continue my research in inflammation. I couldn't be here where I am today without the support of my friends, family, OSU, and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Thank you so much, and go Bucks.
Today I'm celebrating with my family, my parents Carl and Pam Hurst, my siblings Mariah and Alex Hurst, former Buckeye. Huge thank you for all their support over the years. Also a big thank you to my beautiful fiance Chandler Brown. Today I thank God I get to share this day with all the people that mean the world to me. Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. OHIO, thank you Buckeye Nation.
Optometry class of 2020, congratulations. You are our pride and joy, the apple of our eye. Your dedication and commitment this year to your academic and clinical work has been without parallel. As the president of your fan club, I wish you the very best and welcome you as colleagues to the optometric profession. Go Bucks.
These past 4 years have been challenging yet full of wonderful moments for all of us. We received an incredible education and formed lifelong friendships. I'm sure years from now we'll look back at these challenging times we've overcome and appreciate how much stronger we are for it. But most importantly, I believe that we will be proud of becoming a part of the Buckeye family. I also want to wish a Ramadan Mubarak to all of those observing the month, and of course, congratulations class of 2020, we did it!
Today truly means so much to me. It finally marks the end of a long, intense, and finally rewarding journey. I'll be celebrating at home with my family, and even though it's not exactly how I pictured it, I know I have the essentials that I started with, which is family, friends, and the drive to pursue my dreams. So thankful to be able to have walked through the doors and have the opportunity to change my dreams into reality. Congrats.
My experience as a Buckeye can be described in one word: grateful. I'm grateful to have been taught by extremely knowledgeable professors that provide a world-class education at a fantastic university. OSU Optometry is comprised of incredibly driven students, faculty, and staff with the common goal of providing exceptional eye care for every single patient. I'm proud to be a part of Buckeye Nation forever and always. Go Bucks, OH!
Hello, class of 2020. Congratulations. We're here celebrating in Columbus, but also across the country and literally around the world. Years of dedication, years of hard work, years of focus. We are so proud of you. So once again, congratulations and go Bucks.
Congratulations, graduates of the Ohio State University College of Pharmacy 2020. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to represent the College of Pharmacy faculty and staff in wishing you a wonderful career as you finish your time at Ohio State's College of Pharmacy. You have accomplished much, you've shown a great spirit, and we look forward to what you're going to do in the years ahead. Congratulations, go Bucks.
For me, this commencement means celebrating the accomplishment of earning my PhD. This accomplishment would not have been possible without the love and support of many people. These include my graduate advisor, Dr. James Fuchs, my lab mates who became my best friends, and my family, including my wife Becky, my mom Rosemary, and my sisters Erin and Taylor. Today, I celebrate with them and because of them, the people who helped me realize my ultimate goal of becoming a doctor.
Congratulations, Public Health Class of 2020. At the college, we have seen what your friends and family have known for a long time. You are competent, compassionate, and committed. This state, this nation, and indeed this globe have never needed you more, and you are so ready for any and every challenge. Now go out there and make sure that we are always all in this together, no matter the moment, no matter the challenge. Go Bucks!
For me, commencement has been a time of celebration and expressing my thankfulness for my family members and professors and mentors who have helped me make it this far. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And a special congrats to all of my fellow first generation graduates. We did it. We have so much to be proud of, and I could not be more excited to start this new part of my Buckeye journey with you all. So congrats, we did it.
Virtual commencement means a lot to me. It's the culmination of 4 years of hard work. I'm going to celebrate tonight with my partner Julie and my cat Gracie. We're going to pop a bottle of champagne and get takeout to support a local business. And I'd really like to thank Julie, my cat Gracie, and all my friends, family, and professors for all their support for these past 4 years.
This year I will be tuning into virtual commencement with my significant other, my best friend, and my little pup Prince, while also getting a chance to connect virtually with all of my family from Indianapolis.
Everybody, this is Coach Day, head football coach, and just wanted to say congratulations to all the 2020 graduates. What a huge accomplishment, and just wanted to say thank you for all your support to the football program over your career here, and I want to say good luck to all your future endeavors. Go Bucks.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. There's never been a graduating class like your class. 50 years from now, if you tell somebody you're from the class of 2020, they're going to look at you with awe and admiration. Not so much because of what you had to go through to get here, but because of everything you're going to do after here to build a better society. So congratulations, and go build a society we can all live well in together.
This particular commencement is not only important to myself, but also the class of 2020, because it shows that we have the skill of determination, resilience, and flexibility during these unprecedented times. This is not the end of our academic, personal, or professional journey. Instead, this is the beginning to embark on new endeavors in our chosen career path. Personally, this degree is a direct reflection of all the challenges and accomplishments that I have received at The Ohio State University. It is a symbolic representation of strength and prosperity in knowing that I am the first person in my family to receive a master's degree.
This commencement ceremony is such a huge accomplishment. I am so excited this day is finally here. It is amazing to be able to call myself an alumni at The Ohio State University. I will be celebrating at my new home that my boyfriend and I just got. I will be wearing my cap, and I will be on Zoom with my family members while we're all watching. I would not be able to be here without the love and support of my family, without the amazing support of the College of Social Work at Ohio State, and especially not without the support of my grandpa Georgievic, who we all love very dearly. So with that being said, congratulations Buckeyes, we finally made it!
This year's commencement marks the end of an 8-year journey that's left me a well-rounded researcher, educator, and scholar, which is very exciting. I've been celebrating at home by doing the things I love, like making art, and I've been well supported by the College of Social Work, all of the professors who have taught me along the way, my friends and family, especially my husband and children, and I've been inspired by my students. I continue to learn from each of you.
To our College of Veterinary Medicine's class of 2020, congratulations for this extraordinary achievement in earning your DVM degrees and for fulfilling your dreams of becoming veterinarians. We're so appreciative of all you've contributed over the last 4 years, and we know you'll continue to be incredible ambassadors of our college's Be the Model ambition. We're confident you'll continue to do great things as you work and serve to promote the health and well-being of animals and people throughout your careers. Know that we'll always be here for you in times of need, and please keep yourselves and your loved ones healthy and safe. Good luck and go Bucks!
For myself and my classmates, this commencement marks the culmination of a lifelong dream. I will always be thankful to OSU for helping to shape me into the veterinarian and person that I am today. To the faculty and staff at OSU who work tirelessly to support us as students, especially during this pandemic, thank you. To all of our family and friends who have supported us along this entire journey, thank you. And to my classmates, the class of 2020, you are amazing, talented, and resilient. Congratulations. OSU really is a family, and I'm so honored to now be an alum. So congratulations 2020, and go Bucks.
Commencement to me means that I finally achieved my lifelong goal of becoming a veterinarian and being able to call myself a doctor. My classmates and I have worked so hard for so many years to do this, to become a part of a profession that we love and respect so much, and be able to spend the rest of our lives caring for people's pets and animals. I'm so grateful to them for inspiring me and helping me become a veterinarian.
Congratulations, class of 2020. You've distinguished yourselves as resilient and courageous Buckeyes. I'll always remember you as the courageous Buckeyes graduating in 2020 that were prepared to solve the world's most pressing problems, and also as Buckeyes committed to being champions for all. Congratulations, class of 2020. We are proud of you.
I am so thankful for my time at OSU Lima. As I look back on the past 4 years, I can't help but smile as I think about all of the knowledge and friendship gained, not to mention all of the memories that will last a lifetime. The circumstances may be different from years past, but I know that these changes have brought together the 2020 class of Buckeyes in a way not seen before. To all my friends, professors, peers, and especially to my mom, John, and Grandpa Russell, thank you for cheering me on every step of the way. Go Bucks!
Warmest congratulations to the class of 2020, and special congratulations to those of you who finished or even started your degree on the Mansfield campus. We're so proud of all that you've accomplished, and we're excited about all that you'll achieve in the future. Congratulations.
Greetings, members of the 2020 spring commencement. Congratulations on your graduation. My name is Greg Rose. I'm the Dean and Director at The Ohio State University at Marion. It's my pleasure to congratulate you. I think we all understand this year is a little bit different, but nonetheless, your success is to be celebrated. I'd also like to do a special shout out to students who came through Ohio State Marion, either for part of their degree or all of their degree. Thank you for being on our campus, and I wish all of you the very best success in the future. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bill McDonald, Dean and Director of The Ohio State University of Newark. Congratulations to all of our graduates. I'm proud of what you accomplished in your time here at Ohio State, and I'm excited to see what you do in the future.
OH! Good afternoon. My name is Melissa Shivers, and I serve as the Vice President for Student Life here at The Ohio State University. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 424th commencement of The Ohio State University and the very first virtual program in our 150-year history. It must be acknowledged that COVID-19 pandemic has taken many things away from us over the past several weeks. Many last: classes, award ceremonies, hugs, and photos with friends. Many first. Some of you wrote to me to share that this would have been your first visit to the SHU. Others were hoping to be here to celebrate their family's first college graduate, a special day that I personally know is so treasured. But what can never be taken away from you, from your families, from your loved ones, from your friends, is the immense pride I hope that you all feel right now in this moment and for the rest of your days, that you will now join more than 500,000 other distinguished Buckeyes who hold a degree from this incomparable institution. You did it. You have everything that you need to be successful, and we are thrilled to watch you go out into the world. Today is truly your day. To the families and loved ones out there, we recognize that your love, support, sometimes financial, other times in word and deed, literally made the difference for today's grads. You helped them keep going. You got them restarted when they had to stop. You sacrificed. You were a cheerleader. You were a realist. You were a dreamer. We thank you. We are fortunate that you shared your amazing students with us. Your students, they thank you. Before the celebration gets underway, I thought you would like to hear about today's graduating class. Approximately 12,967 graduates will be granted degrees today. Of those graduates, 261 will receive doctorate degrees, 1,983 the master's degree, 983 graduate professional degrees, and some 9,740 bachelor's and associate degrees and certificates. These graduates will be earning degrees in fields of study ranging from anatomy to history of art, biomedical engineering to horticulture and crop science, education to nursing, and pharmaceutical sciences to sociology. Ohio State proudly welcomes students from across the globe who greatly enrich our campus community. International students hail from nearly 90 countries and 5 continents are represented in this class, with graduates from Austria, China, El Salvador, Japan, Peru, Switzerland, and Zimbabwe, just to name a few. Here at The Ohio State University, students from all 15 colleges and all campuses participate in one commencement ceremony each semester of the academic year. This is a unique tradition at an institution of this size. We are excited that you are joining us today, and we look forward to celebrating our graduates' accomplishments in person in the near future. Graduates, family, and friends are also encouraged to share their virtual experience, your photos, your best wishes, and then also any videos with us using hashtag OSUGrad on social media. You will find the order of today's events on page 1 of the digital commencement program available at commencement.osu.edu. Delivering the commencement address today is Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. An honorary degree will be awarded to Tim Cook. The Distinguished Service Award will be presented to Philip T.K. Daniel, E. Christopher Ellison, and Timothy A. Gerber. Members from your entire university community are also viewing to cheer on your tremendous accomplishments, including the Board of Trustees, the President's Cabinet, deans, and other university administrators, faculty, and staff members from across all units of the university, and members of your ever-growing Buckeye alumni family. We are here to honor you, the class of 2020, who is sharing this historic moment today and who have earned the right to be graduates of the Ohio State University. We know that your family and guests watching share our joy and pleasure today on this happy, happy occasion. And now, we celebrate the class of 2020.
Your path to becoming a Buckeye is paved with 150 years of tradition. The sound of Orton chimes, walks with friends across campus, reflective moments at Mirror Lake, traditions like touching Oxley's head, meeting new friends during Welcome Week.
To the Michigan 40, Campbell to
The incredible sense of pride beating that team up north year after year.
Harris Campbell on a fly sweep.
While this year commencement is different, this is your special moment. What's important is that you are sharing it with the people you care about. Today's celebration brings a deeper meaning to how firm thy friendship. A tie that binds and cannot be broken by distance. Your hard work, your accomplishments, and the impact you've already made reminds us what it means to be a Buckeye. You have the courage to say what isn't being said and do what isn't being done. You give voice to those not heard and champion others in ways that raise them up. You put your creativity and perspectives out there for the world to see, with a confidence that anything and everything is possible. Your potential cannot be diminished as you continue to call your boldness and compassion will be an unforgettable part of history. Together as Buckeyes, now and forever.
Good afternoon. I am President Michael Drake, and we're excited to welcome you to today's virtual ceremony. The singing of the national anthem will be led by Mark Wilkinson, a candidate for the degree Doctor of Musical Arts. Will you please rise as you are able and remain standing for the national anthem? Thank you. Please be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce our student speaker. A proud member of the class of 2020, Kate Greer embodies the leadership, service, and curiosity that has long defined our Buckeye community. While at Ohio State, she pursued every opportunity to leverage these traits in support of her fellow students. Through her service to several campus organizations, including undergraduate student government as a member, chairperson, and ultimately as its president, she helped to make Ohio State a more welcoming and exemplary institution. With her studies in German language and European history now complete, Kate will soon embark on the next phase of her journey as a Fulbright student fellowship to Germany. We wish her the very best. Please join me in welcoming Kate Greer.
Thank you so much, President Drake, Provost McFerrin, Dr. Shivers, faculty, staff, friends, family, and distinguished graduates of the class of 2020. It is truly my honor to represent our class of Ohio State graduates, even if from an entirely vacant Ohio Stadium. I want to take a moment to recognize that today, as special a day as it is, people are mourning. We are a graduating class unlike any other. Yes, because of our talent, our contributions to our community, and the things we will go on to do, but also, and perhaps most potently today, because our final year at this school that we love so much was suddenly disrupted. Ever since we first set foot on this campus, every one of us has dreamt of walking through the shoe in our caps and gowns and standing amongst a crowd of 10,000 plus other graduating Buckeyes to have our diplomas personally handed to us, celebrating with friends and mentors who changed our lives. The class of 2020, however, did not get what we had dreamed of ever since we decided to become Buckeyes. But honestly, if there's anything I've learned during my time in isolation, it's that Buckeyes are incredibly creative. We've moved whole events onto Instagram Live. We've used Zoom to conduct our end-of-the-year banquets. We've found ways to support and uplift each other, even at times when it seemed impossible. I don't know where all of you are right now, and I can't pretend to know what you might be going through in the light of this crisis. Many of us may be struggling to feel the Buckeye spirit, but I hope you remember this. It's the sound of the OHIO chant circling around the stadium and the best damn band in the land marching down the tunnel onto the field. It is the feeling of walking out of class having learned something that fascinates you to no end. It's the sight of those numbers being revealed one by one at the end of Buckeye-thon. It's linking arms around each other, friends and strangers alike, to sing Carmen, Ohio. While we were all supposed to be gathered in the stands today, I hope that where you're sitting is a little bit more comfortable than bleachers. You're also much less likely to get sunburnt, even if it seems that getting a graduation cap tan line across your forehead is a rite of passage. Although we are not together in person, we are inherently connected by that Buckeye spirit. We may all be spread out across the world, but wasn't that the way it was always supposed to happen after we got our diplomas? After May 3rd, 2020, pandemic or not, we were always meant to go our separate ways. We just happened to start the process a little early. I still plan on celebrating today, on FaceTime with my friends, on Zoom with my family, having happy hour. I hope, despite the physical distance between us all, that you are still celebrating yourself, because these past few weeks can never take away how hard you worked and everything you sacrificed to get to this moment. When you go out into the world, remember that a piece of Buckeye Nation is wherever you are. The Buckeye spirit is wherever you decide to make your mark. We are all connected through this common Ohio State heritage no matter what. And my hope for all of you is that you keep that connection and spirit alive through one another and through yourselves. Stay in touch, everyone. At least we've already perfectly figured out how to use Zoom.
Thank you very much, Kate. We really appreciate your contribution to this 424th commencement. Thank you. We shall now continue with the presentation of the Honorary Degree and Distinguished Service Awards. In keeping with safe practices, these awards will be given in absentia, and the honorees will be asked to return to a future ceremony to receive these honors in person. We will begin the honorary degree program with Dr. Bruce McFerrin, Executive Vice President and Provost, who will present the recipient.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present Tim Cook for the honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters. Among the most influential leaders of our time, Tim Cook is dedicated to providing individuals with innovative and ethically produced products and services that improve their lives. His leadership has helped set the standard for workplace inclusivity, social responsibility, and environmental stewardship. Additionally, his efforts continue to exemplify the ability of businesses to drive solutions to systemic challenges and alleviate suffering the world over. With an unrivaled impact on economies across the globe, his far-reaching legacy will surely inspire rising professionals and leaders for generations to come.
In the name of The Ohio State University, and by virtue of the authority of its Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon Tim Cook, in absentia, the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations, Tim. It is now my distinct privilege to present the Distinguished Service Award to individuals who have rendered service above and beyond the call of duty to the university. The candidates will be presented by Dr. McFerrin.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present Philip T.K. Daniel for the Distinguished Service Award. Time and again, Dr. Philip T.K. Daniel has served The Ohio State University as an exemplary scholar, colleague, and advocate for students. Throughout his many leadership roles across the university, his informed and selfless guidance and passion for the institution's values were instrumental in bolstering the academic success of its students and fulfilling its founding land-grant mission. Moreover, Dr. Daniel's unique ability to find common ground and forge consensus stands as an inspiring and enduring example of collaborative leadership for which the Buckeye community will forever be grateful.
In the name of The Ohio State University, and by the authority of its Board of Trustees, I hereby present Philip T.K. Daniel with the Distinguished Service Award in absentia. Congratulations.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present E. Christopher Ellison for the Distinguished Service Award. Dr. E. Christopher Ellison is a distinguished clinician, educator, researcher, and leader whose extensive service to The Ohio State University has uplifted the prestige of its medical enterprise, the health of the community, and the lives of those around him. He's helped guide the careers of countless young physicians with his teaching and mentorship, and transformed his discipline through prolific scholarship and dedicated professional engagement. Through these contributions and many others, he continues to exemplify the collaboration, innovation, and service that define the Buckeye spirit.
In the name of The Ohio State University and by authority of its Board of Trustees, I hereby present E. Christopher Ellison with the Distinguished Service Award in absentia. Congratulations.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present Timothy A. Gerber for the Distinguished Service Award. Throughout more than 3 decades of distinguished service to The Ohio State University, Dr. Timothy A. Gerber left an indelible imprint upon the institution, its people, and the broader community. An exemplar of the dedication and excellence to which all Buckeyes aspire, Dr. Gerber and his thoughtful, collaborative leadership were frequently called upon to guide the university's ever-evolving mission to educate and engage. In so many ways, Dr. Gerber's myriad contributions have helped define the Ohio State of today and ensured its vitality for generations to come.
In the name of The Ohio State University and by authority of its Board of Trustees, I hereby present Timothy A. Gerber with the Distinguished Service Award in absentia. Congratulations. And around the world, can we all join in a round of applause? True Buckeyes all. As we celebrate the class of 2020 from living rooms, desks, and kitchen tables across the country and around the world, I am deeply grateful for the technology that allows us to share this moment. It is fitting, then, at a time when we must be apart, that today's distinguished speaker has dedicated his career to developing and refining many of the digital tools we now rely on to bring us together. As Chief Executive Officer of Apple and a member of its Board of Directors, Tim Cook has helped launch many of the most innovative products and services of our time. Since joining the company in 1998, Mr. Cook has helped Apple set the standard for a new era of connectivity through its devices, software, and operations. Under his leadership as CEO, the company has worked to design and deliver on these ideas in ways that are more inclusive, socially responsible, and environmentally sound. The company's global operations run entirely on renewable energy, and it is working toward a supply chain that will one day no longer extract materials from the earth. Accessibility is central to the design of every Apple product, and the company has worked to ensure pay equity across the enterprise and to advance opportunities for underrepresented minorities. Most recently, Mr. Cook and Apple have brought their skills and focus to the worldwide response to COVID-19. They have developed innovative tools to help trace infections while protecting privacy. They have donated millions of dollars to charities, leading the response, and provided critical protective equipment to hospitals and healthcare workers on the front lines, including those right here in the Buckeye State. A native of Alabama, Mr. Cook earned his bachelor's degree in industrial engineering from Auburn University. He later earned his Master of Business Administration from Duke University, where he was named a Fuqua Scholar, an honor reserved for the top 10% of the graduating class. Graduates, families, and friends, please join me in welcoming Tim Cook.
Thank you, President Drake. Good afternoon, OSU. Before we get to the important work of your future, I want to take a moment to consider our past. As 1918 dawned, a young Assistant Secretary of the Navy, just 36 at the time, was headed overseas, tasked with making sure America's green and untested troops were ready for action in Europe's Great War. An iconoclastic poet and academic, barely 30, balanced odd jobs as a high school teacher and banker after the outbreak of war had dashed his hopes of defending his dissertation. And a young nurse, only 20, began caring for wounded soldiers at a military hospital in Toronto. She worked ever longer hours as a strange sickness began to appear beside the wounds of war. By the time the Spanish flu swept through their countries, their communities, and their bodies, these three would be forever changed. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was carried off a military ship on a stretcher. Once he had recovered back home in New York, he was the nominee for vice president, beginning a career in national politics that would change the course of history. While lying in his sickbed, T.S. Eliot began writing what would become The Wasteland, his poetic masterpiece. It begins, "April is the cruelest month," and it began a movement of literary modernism that would win him the Nobel Prize for Literature. And when Amelia Earhart finally caught the flu from one of her patients, her recovery was more complicated and painful than most. To pass the long and boring hours of quarantine and social distance, she would watch the airplanes coming and going, and she started to wonder whether she might like a change of career. Graduates, I'm sorry that we're not celebrating together today. Your class is a special one, marked by history like few others in OSU's 150 years. And while we aren't shoulder to shoulder in the horseshoe, filling it to the rafters, I know your parents, your loved ones, your friends and teachers are no less overwhelmed with the pride in you and in what you have achieved. It can be difficult to see the whole picture when you're still inside the frame, but I hope you wear these uncommon circumstances as a badge of honor. Those who meet times of historical challenge with their eyes and hearts open, forever restless and forever striving, are also those who leave the greatest impact on the lives of others. In every age, life has a frustrating way of reminding us that we are not the sole authors of our story. We must share credit, whether we'd like to or not, with a difficult and selfish collaborator called our circumstances. And when our glittering plans are scrambled, as they often will be, and our dearest hopes are dashed, as will sometimes happen, we're left with a choice. We can curse the loss of something that was never going to be, or we can see reasons to be grateful for the yank on the scruff of the neck in having our eyes lifted up from the story we were writing for ourselves and turned instead to a remade world. When I joined Apple in 1998, I couldn't believe my luck. I was going to spend the rest of my life working for Steve Jobs. But fate comes like a thief in the night. The loneliness I felt when we lost Steve was proof there is nothing more eternal or more powerful than the impact we have on others. Those of us who can look back on this time and remember inconveniences and even boredom can count themselves lucky. Many more will know real hardship and fear. Others still will be cut to the bone. And while we turn to our loved ones and friends for comfort, think hard about those whose impact on your life is more distant, but no less meaningful. Think about an undocumented father, ignored or scorned by his community, who is putting himself at risk in the fields today to feed his family and yours. Think about a single mother who stocks shelves at night and drives a city bus in the morning, without whom so much would fall apart. Think about the hospital orderly scrubbing down the ward on hands and knees, whose work today is as solitary and sacred as a high priest purifying a temple. Most of all, think about how you, blessed with a world-class education, might act and work and be differently when all this is said and done. Memorialize in your heart the way in which these times reveal what really matters: the health and well-being of our loved ones, the resilience of our communities, and the sacrifices made by those, from doctors to garbage collectors, who give their whole selves to serving others. Not being able to leave the house leaves you with a lot of odd gaps of time to fill. I've been trying to use them to read, and I keep coming back to Abraham Lincoln. I'd recommend it to anyone who wants to put these times into perspective. You'll be shocked at how clever and funny and alive his thinking still is, how this reserved and humble man managed in noisy times to call others to hope. And as we celebrate OSU's 150th anniversary, it's worth remembering that the school wouldn't exist without the land-grant university system that Lincoln signed into law. It's also hard to imagine someone more defined by their circumstances. Lincoln found his country on fire and chose to run into the flames. And he gave everything he had to bring his people, chaotic and squabbling, fundamentally flawed yet fundamentally good, along with him. The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present, he said. The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise with the occasion. As our case is new, so we must think anew and act anew. We must disenthrall ourselves, and then we shall save our country. Graduates, your case is new. For you, the old dogmas have never been an option. You don't have the luxury of being enthralled. You enter a world of difficulty with open eyes, tasked with writing a story that is not necessarily of your choosing, but is still entirely yours. You're the pride of your parents and grandparents, of aunts, uncles, and teachers, of the communities that shaped you in ways seen and unseen. You weren't promised this day. Many of you had to fight hard to earn it. Now it's yours. Think anew. Act anew. Build a better future than the one you thought was certain. And in a fearful time, call us once again to hope. Congratulations to you all. Be great. Be well. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Mr. Cook, for your contribution to this occasion. And again, congratulations on your honorary degree. It's great to have you as a Buckeye. And graduates, it's an honor and a privilege to share this time with you and your families and friends. We're not here together. We wanted to recognize your incredible accomplishments, nevertheless, on this day. These are extraordinary times that have affected everything in our lives, including the way you completed your journey at Ohio State. We'll celebrate today and then look forward to a future joyous celebration when we are all able to come back together again in the shoe. Let me take a moment at this time to thank all of those on the front lines, here at Ohio State and elsewhere, who are fighting COVID-19 this very moment. And I want to thank everyone who is staying home and doing their part there. Across the country and around the world, we have lost loved ones to this virus. And over these past years, we have also lost members of the Buckeye community, including members of the class of 2020, through different circumstances. Though these and other loved ones may not be with us here physically today, they are in our hearts and minds. And let us now take a moment to remember them. Thank you. Today, we are conferring nearly 13,000 degrees and certificates, the most ever in university history. And 1,800 of our graduates receiving baccalaureate degrees are the first in their families to earn a college degree. Always an amazing and touching achievement. What a profound impact that has on families and communities now and in the future. We're also graduating a remarkable class of scholars, students earning diplomas designated summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude, and students getting degrees with distinction and with honors that recognize work completed in special programs in the colleges. Congratulations to these students for their achievements. In this class also are cadets and midshipmen in the Reserve Officer Training Corps. At virtual ceremonies held yesterday and in the next few weeks, they will be commissioned as officers in our armed forces. We are certainly grateful for these graduates and for their service to this nation. Thank you. And this class of graduates are people from all walks of life and all parts of the globe, coming together to celebrate their collective efforts to make this a better country and a better world. We are so proud of each and every one of you. We trust you will exemplify the motto of this university, which is education for citizenship, by using your education and using your passion to make a difference. Mr. Cook delivered an important message, and among the many things he said, he focused on the importance of extraordinary times and how extraordinary times call for extraordinary solutions, how extraordinary times spawn extraordinary solutions. Years from now, when you look back on your contributions to the world, this will be your history. As we, today, look forward, you are our future. I've attended many graduation ceremonies over the years, over 100 in thinking back, and I thought that today I would pull the essence from 3 of the speeches I heard over those years and share them with you. One is from a student, one was from an invited guest, one from one of our own friends and colleagues. From the invited guest, over a decade ago, who I will identify as Dr. W., she shared with us that a simple kindness, looking out for another person, can change a life. She learned this as a child from a grocery store clerk, and she internalized that kindness and turned that powerful message into a life where she has uplifted the lives of thousands and thousands of others. remember that kindness works in both ways. You may receive a kindness, but then the real value comes from what you do with that opportunity, how you pay it forward. Another message that was shared by a student a few years back was, and his message was that life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. Greatness does not arise from complacency. I mention this because I remember the circumstances in which he delivered the speech. He and I were sitting together before he got up to give his speech, and he had asked me carefully if I would read the title of his speech because he couldn't quite pronounce it. He couldn't quite pronounce it because English was his third language, and although he had rehearsed his speech for 4 months in the mirror at home and delivered it perfectly, he still, even that day, couldn't quite say the words that were the title. And so I delivered the title for him, and he stood and gave a great speech. What I was noticing is that his message, that life begins on the edge of your comfort zone, was being given by a 22-year-old speaking before thousands of people in his third language on the day that he had first seen his mother or any other family member in 4 years. So in the moment, he was literally on the edge of his comfort zone, and it was a profound message. The third message, essence of message that I wanted to share today was actually from a colleague and friend. It was delivered actually here in this stadium 5 years ago. The message was that we all need to learn and grow from our mistakes. We all make mistakes, sometimes big ones, but the course of our lives is determined by what we do next. The speaker was our own Archie Griffin, and he gave the speech about things that happened actually here on this field, and precisely where we are at this time. And the story that Archie shared on that day was that as a freshman and a fifth-string running back, in the first game of the season, it was late in the game. The Buckeyes were nicely well ahead in a blowout, and improbably, he was called to go into the game. Archie, having been born in Columbus and grown up in the shadow of the stadium, was overwhelmed by this. This was a dream of a lifetime to actually be able to play for the Buckeyes, and here he was, a freshman in the first game of the season, able to come onto the field. He got into the huddle, and more improbably, the first play that was called was to give the ball to him. Again, he was overwhelmed and excited, thrilled. Hike, the ball was handled, and immediately he fumbled and was yanked from the game and sat on the bench. In a moment, he went from the most exciting moment in his life to the most embarrassing, down to zero, as the song says. What do you do when such a thing happens? What Archie did was go home and know for sure that he wasn't going to get the ball again for the rest of that season, but begin to prepare for the next year, to think of all the things he had to do and practice focusing forward so that next year he might get another chance. The next game he was on the sidelines, and this time actually early in the first quarter, when the game was still in question, he shockingly heard his name called. And he said when he actually heard it, he thought, gosh, I didn't know there were two Griffins on this team. Heard his name called, ran into the huddle, and then again, shockingly, the play was called to hand him the ball. When he finally left the field in that game in the fourth quarter, he had set the university running record all time for a running back in a game. He had broken a school record that encompassed the past 75 years and left to a standing ovation. And his message was, again, that we all make mistakes. We all can do things that don't work out. What determines the course of our lives is what we do next. Let me say that as you think of those messages, let me also share 3 guiding principles for success in your lives. The first is to have a set of core values and to stay true to those values in all that you do. Stay true to your values. The second is do your best to do your best in all that you do. And the third is that whatever you're doing, it's rarely about you. It's routinely about us. Our colleague and friend John Glenn had profound words on this. John Glenn said that the happiest and most fulfilled people that he had known were those who were dedicated to something bigger and greater than simply their own self-interest. So I would say that as I conclude, I'd like to share some words from a poet I quote often. This is the poet Rabindranath Tagore. And I, too, am transitioning, so I'm thinking of these words in that context. One of Tagore's poems is, "I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy." I've shared this many times in the past. I want to actually repeat it once. It's short, and actually speak of it in the moment. I slept and dreamt of joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. Serving at The Ohio State University has been a blessing and a privilege. Serving at The Ohio State University has been a joy. I want to offer, if I may, for one moment, a few special thanks to those who've been indispensable over all of these years. First, to my best teachers, who are my children. Second, to our trustees, who've done so much to make this university a great place. To my colleagues and friends in the president's office and across the campus. To a few others who I'll just mention by name. I'll just mention a few names. Katie, Mira, Ramona and Ann, Elizabeth and Valerie. Another group would be Hailey and Jim and Holly. And finally, honestly, and most of all, and over all the years, and for so much, Brenda. Thank you. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. And now for the main event that we've all come here, well, the few of us have come here to celebrate with all of you all around the world. The conferring of degrees, beginning with our graduate students. Dr. McFerrin, may I ask that you please come forward and present the candidates for their degrees.
Thank you, President Drake. Graduates, family, and friends, at this point in the program, we typically recognize our graduates and the deans of their colleges by asking them to stand as their college is called. While we're not physically together today, we encourage you to continue this tradition and stand as you're able and be recognized by those with whom you're celebrating today. Will the following please rise? Alicia Bertone, Dean of the Graduate School, and all candidates for the degrees Doctor of Musical Arts and Doctor of Philosophy. Mr. President, I have the honor to present these candidates to receive the degrees Doctor of Musical Arts and Doctor of Philosophy, who have completed all requirements and have been recommended by the faculty of their colleges.
In the name of The Ohio State University, upon the recommendation of its faculty, and by the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the degrees Doctor of Musical Arts and Doctor of Philosophy. Congratulations to our new doctoral degree recipients.
Will the following please rise? Alicia Bertone, Dean of the Graduate School, and candidates for the degrees Doctor of Audiology, Doctor of Education, Doctor of Nursing Practice, Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Specialist in Education, and all candidates for the master's degrees indicated in the program of the day. Mr. President, I have the honor to present these candidates who have completed all requirements and have been recommended by the faculty of their colleges.
In the name of The Ohio State University, upon the recommendation of its faculty, and by the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the appropriate degrees as indicated in the program of the day. Congratulations. And please, around the world and around the country, please join me in congratulating our Doctor of Audiology, Doctor of Education, Doctor of Nursing Practice, Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Specialist in Education, and all master's degree recipients.
Will the following please rise? Gretchen Ritter, Executive Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Peter Hahn, Dean of the Arts and Humanities. Christopher Jaroniak, Interim Dean of the Natural and Mathematical Sciences. And Morton O'Kelly, Dean of the Social and Behavioral Sciences, and candidates for degrees in all fields in the arts and sciences. Anil Makija, Dean of the Fisher College of Business, and candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Patrick Lloyd, Dean of the College of Dentistry, and candidates for degrees Doctor of Dental Surgery, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Science in Dental Hygiene. Donald Pope Davis, Dean of the College of Education and Human Ecology, and candidates for degrees in the College of Education and Human Ecology. David Williams, Dean of the College of Engineering, and candidates for degrees in the College of Engineering, including the Austin E. Knowlton School of Architecture. Kathann Kress, Dean of the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences, and candidates for degrees in the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences, including the School of Environment and Natural Resources. Lincoln Davies, Dean of the Moritz College of Law, and candidates for the degrees Juris Doctor and Master of Laws. James Rocco, Interim Dean of the College of Medicine, candidates for the degree Doctor of Medicine, and candidates for degrees in the College of Medicine, including the School of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences. Bernadette Melnick, Dean of the College of Nursing, and candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Carla Zadnik, Dean of the College of Optometry, and candidates for the degree Doctor of Optometry. Henry Mann, Dean of the College of Pharmacy, and candidates for the degrees Doctor of Pharmacy and Bachelor of Science in Pharmaceutical Sciences. Trevor Brown, Dean of the John Glenn College of Public Affairs, and candidates for the degrees Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Sciences. Amy Fairchild, Dean of the College of Public Health, and candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Public Health. Thomas Gregoire, Dean of the College of Social Work, and candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Social Work. Rustin Moore, Dean of the College of Veterinary Medicine, and candidates for the degree Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. At this time, I would also like to ask the following deans to rise. Damon Jaggers, Vice Provost and Dean of University Libraries. Timothy Rayner, Dean and Director of Ohio State Lima. Norman Jones, Dean and Director of Ohio State Mansfield. Gregory Rose, Dean and Director of Ohio State Marion. And William McDonald, Dean and Director of Ohio State Newark. Mr. President, I have the honor to present these candidates for the degrees indicated in the program of the day who have completed all requirements and have been recommended by the faculty of their colleges.
In the name of The Ohio State University, upon recommendation of its faculty and by authority of the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon each of you the appropriate degree as indicated in the program of the day. Congratulations. Wonderful achievement. Congratulations. This is a wonderful next chapter in your lives, a day of dreams fulfilled and futures launched. For your many contributions as students and now as alumni, and until we can come back together again at the SHU, let me offer the gratitude of this university and my personal best wishes. The ceremonies for the 424th commencement will close with the singing of Carmen, Ohio, the alma mater of this university. I invite all of you, wherever you are, to stand and join in the singing of Carmen, Ohio, featuring a special video from our OSU marching band. Please rise.
you.